What up? This is on the sequel to Sobriety. My name is Rob, and I'm an alcoholic and drug addict. I'm gonna get into the first time I ever seen anybody high off heroin. Heroin, chimbo slice, black, la negra, whatever you call it. The hey there, Miss Brown, whatever. The first time I ever got exposed to that shit, when I seen somebody do it, I fucking tripped because it was so weird. So let's get into it. So at this time, I was looking for some Tamil, and there was only one guy that had it, and he lived in the Vista Terrace. So I had to hit him up. Said, "Yeah, dog, came through." And since I'm a big bowler, shot caller, I only had $10 on me. So I went, hit him up, came through. Did the bird call? Came through. He's like, "Hey, what's up, Taff? Come up." And I was like, "All right." I went up. What I always loved about the fucking Vista Terrace is that it's the 2-story apartments. You know what I mean? Like they always had every apartment I went into had an upstairs, which for some reason I don't know. I always appreciated, maybe because it felt more like a home, like a house. You know what I mean? So I always loved that shit. So I went up there to this room, walked in. First thing I noticed on the TV on my left hand side was foil paper, like in a chalupa, right, in the boat, in the foil paper boat, and I seen that it was burnt across, and not like it was like black, like super duper black and burnt. That's why I was like, what the fuck, like. And me, since I'm used to seeing meth being smoked, I'm like whatever, you know what I mean? Or maybe they were tweaking, maybe they burned it a little bit. Maybe these guys from the Vista Terrace really don't know how to smoke like the homies from the Villa, so they burned their shit up. I don't know what it was. So I was tripping, like, why are they so burnt? And I was like, whatever. I told the homie, I was like, hey, what's up, fool? Let me get that. I got $10. He's like, all right, cool. So he stands up and he puts a scale right next to that foil paper that I see. And he has like a bag like this, like a weed fucking like hugging it. And he starts grabbing into the bag to weigh it, right? So he goes, I was like, what the fuck? Like, motherfucker was nodding out, straight up falling asleep on his feet. And I was like, what? And I was like, hey, fool. And oh. I was like, no fucking way, dude. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, these guys are on the fucking sick one for sure. I was like, am I missing out on something? Is heroin a drug that I need to be doing? But I was like, nah, I must be honest right now with you. Me as the tweaker, heroin, down here, perro. Tweaker, up here. I always looked at heroin as being low class, dirty, no good, trailer park trash motherfuckers be doing that shit because they inject it, you know what I mean? So I always looked down upon it for some reason. I thought I was a guy, you know what I mean? I thought it was a Catherine, homie. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought it was high class. So I tripped out. He was nodding out. That was my first time I ever seen anybody nodding out like that. I was like, this motherfucker on the good one. And then there was another homie in the back on his bed. That fool was just like, I was like, damn, no, my these fools are good, homie. These fools are on a good one. I was like, damn, but honestly, it took me about 37 and a half minutes to walk out of that place with $10 worth of Tamil. I was so fucking pissed that I had to wait for so long. You know what I mean? I was just so pissed at how slow that shit made you. But I mean, honestly, those guys must have been on a good one, chilling, doing their own goddamn thing, dog. So I left. After that, right, I left, and I was just like so amazed about like, what the fuck, right? So speed up a little bit. These guys, one the guy who had the Tamil, I ended up actually being pretty cool with him. You know what I mean? He was a pretty cool dude and shit. And he used to hang out with this guy from my apartments, and they were both using that fucking chimbo slice, right? And they would hit me up maybe once every 2 weeks, once a month, and they knew that I was a diabetic, so they assumed that I had diabetic needles, syringes with me. And I personally didn't own any, but there was some in my house. And we had a box full of packages and like 20, 20 syringes in each package. And there was a bunch of packages. So then we wanted to make a deal like, hey, we'll take you a bowl, give us some syringes, whatever. All right, cool. We did that for a little bit. And then, so up to this time, I'd never seen it done in front of me. Fast forward a little bit more. I'm chilling on my pad. I'm home alone, playing video games. And the homie from the Vista hits me up. He's like, "Hey, fool, you got any more needles?" And I was like, "Actually, I do. I'm home alone right now. You got anything for me?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Can we come through?" I was like, "Yup, come through." And if any of my family members are watching this, I'm sorry, but this happened in the house, and I'm glad it didn't get out of hand. So there's two homies that come to the pad. I'm in the master bedroom. So in my master bedroom, you walk in the little hallway. You have a little toilet right there, little bathroom, and you walk up a few more feet. I have a kitchen. I also say kitchen sink. I have a sink to wash your hands, and there's a mirror, and then you turn a little bit into the actual room. So I'm posted up right there. They come through, and we're smoking, and they're like, "Hey, fool, we want to slam though." And I was like, well, "Okay." They're like, do you mind if I do it here? And I was like, "No, not at all. Go ahead, do your thing, dog. Do your fucking thing." And so, so they both go into the sink area in the mirror, and I was like, "Oh, maybe they just got to see themselves." And I was expecting to see what we see in the movies is where they fucking tie a band around their muscle, you know what I mean, and they hold it with their teeth, and they're like, I was expecting to see that. I was fucking wrong, dead fucking wrong. My homie from the VIA starts choking the dude from the Vista, like, oh, really choking him, like, really choking him. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And he was like, Simon, dog, I see him. He's like, acá abajo. And I was like, what? And then I was like, what? I just couldn't believe it. And then he's like, oh, it's for the veins to pop out. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. These motherfuckers are hitting each other's veins in the fucking neck. And these guys are like fucking straight RNs, dog. They're just getting it, fucking find the vein and clink, hit the plunger. I remember when they first hit the plunger, I was like, and the guy goes, and he fucking loses his breath. He starts gasping for air. And I'm like, dude, it's done right here. He's done. And he comes back to life and he's like, fuck yeah. I was like, no fucking way, dog. What the fuck is this heroin all about? I didn't want to know, but I kind of wanted to know, but I didn't want to experience it. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, what the fuck? And then it was the other way around. Now the homie from the Vista had to choke out the homie from the VIA so his veins could fucking pop out. And I was like, dude, these guys are fucking straight nuts. If I thought I was scandalous for doing what I had to do to get some shizzy, this is even top tier scandalous that they have to choke each other to get each other's veins out. Dude, literally putting their fucking lives on the line to get high. Like, that high must be amazing if they're willing to die for it. You know what I mean? Like, who does that? Heroin addicts do that, I guess. And it was so fucked up. I got exposed to that, and it fucking, honestly, it changed the way I looked at them and then just heroin addicts and the entirety. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, these guys are crazy. I don't want to be around this shit. And then I started like tripping, like, dude, what if they would have missed their veins and had an overdose right here in my pad? And what was I gonna do? I had to call 911. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fucked up. And we went on from there, right? They bounced, and their addiction got way out of hand, obviously. And it got to the point where one of them actually, well, they both hit me up, right? But the first one from the VIA, that fool hit me up that he wanted to go to my rehab. And then, so, I ended up in rehab, and I'll definitely tell stories about rehab later on. But the homie from the VIA hit me up. He said, hey, fool, I need to go to rehab. Can I go to the one you're at? I said, Simon, wait, Kyle, this is the address. Get here. And he gets there. He was maybe there for like 2 days until he started crying. A grown man fucking crying, full on tears coming down his face. He's like, hey, Rob, ayúdame, güey. Ayúdame, que puedo ir para atrás a la vía, güey. I got some fucking money. Give me a ride, fool, por favor, güey. I'll break you off with some feria, please, dog. Ocupo irme, güey. And I was like, no way. This guy was full on crying because he couldn't handle being sober. He couldn't handle the come down. And he needed to get high. He needed to. And I felt sorry for him. And I looked at my boy and I was like, look, dog, you're my homie. Love you. There's nothing I could do for you, dog. He's like, fuck. And he was just like, oh, no, mom. He was dying. Before I knew it, he bounced back to the Villa. Never seen him again. Then the homie from the Vista, eventually, first the guy from the Villa ended up overdosing, right? Fucked up shit. Couldn't stop. I knows he went to rehab a lot. He tried. The drug was just too strong, dog. And sometimes we lose the battle, and that's one of the things that opens my eyes is that I'm one of the lucky ones that got to survive this fucking bullshit that we're on, dog. Not everybody gets to come out of drug addiction, and that's one thing that I'll always have in my mind, and one thing that I'll always be thankful for in my heart, that I'm one of the lucky ones that made that out of addiction. So rest in peace to the homie from the Villa. Then the homie from the Vista, right? He hits me up too. He's like, hey, Rob, I want to go to rehab. I see what you're doing. I'm feeling it. He's like, but every single drug addict always has an excuse not to go to rehab. God damn it. It pisses me off. He said, but según él, he was enrolled in some type of courses in Southwestern College or some bullshit. He's like, I just want to finish my college because I don't want it to get fucked off because I already paid for it. But he's like, as soon as I'm done, palabra, homie, I'm gonna go to fucking rehab, dog. I was like, sick, hell yeah. And that's the last conversation we had. And then out of a sudden, I don't know why, but he was just like heavy on my mind. I was just thinking about like, what the fuck happened to this fool? You know what I mean? So I hit up one of his neighbors that I'm cool with, and I was like, "Hey, fool, what happened to your neighbor, dog?" And he's like, "Oh, what? You didn't hear? That fool fucking died of an overdose." And I was like, "No, mames, way, dude." It's so fucking sad that both of my homies they fucking died of an overdose, dog. And I was barely getting to be cool with the homie from the Vista. We would text each other just saying stupid shit, like one-liners. You know what I mean? And like the homie from the Villa, was I've known them all my life. Like lost two homies to overdoses of heroin. Shit ain't no joke, man. This drug out there ain't no fucking joke. When you want to fucking keep using every day and you eventually overdose, you just can't stop. You're willing to put your life on the line to get high, and these guys paid the ultimate price, man. What a sad world we live in when we can't stop, huh? God damn it.